around?
Yes, I'm around.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yes, I'm around. My name is Fezile Mlungu. I'm going to be doing this presentation on the using this consent-based adoption model to capacitate academics in use of educational technologies. Now, my presentation is based on the fact that at WSU, oh, by the way, my name, I'm the e-learning specialist at WSU, Waterford University in Eastern Cape. What I wanted to say was that at WSU, we're not only challenged with lockdown and COVID-19 issues, but we're also changing the LMS that we're using from Blackboard to Moodle, so which was a bit new to the staff members. So we have to assist the staff members to not only use online learning, but to also get to grips with use of Moodle as well. Now, this model I used in order to manage the training of lecturers and the capacitation of them to use Moodle as an LMS. And can you see my slide?
Yes,
Police,
we can.
Can you see my slide?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. But then I'll just go through, because I'm sure when I'll be sharing the slides, one can just go through them bit by bit as they need. But basically on that slide, what is happening there? The approach that we used is that as an academic developer, we are an e-learning specialist. You have to capacitate these people in use of technology. But the truth is that you are not actually dealing with technologists or with technology, but are dealing with people. With different cultures operating in a structure. So it means then we have to do apply some sort of change management models that deal with the fact that the people's concerns must come before technology. So that's basically what that slide explains. Now, the question now would be, what will be those models that we'll use? What will be those change management models? It means that we have to use a model like ADGA, whereby we have to make sure the lecturers are aware of the technology. We sort of stroke a desire in them to use the technology, right? And then to also give them the knowledge about the technology, as well as the ability to use it, and it must also reinforce whatever skill we gave them, so that to make sure that the skill is kept within them by reinforcing them through one-on-one sessions, formal trainings, manuals, and stuff like that. As well, we can also look at what is called Gleicher's formula for change, which is actually applicable in the change management sphere, that is in the professional business environment, whereby they are defining change as that is for a change to happen, there must be dissatisfaction multiplied by vision, multiplied by first step, in order to mitigate the resistance of the lecturers towards that change. What basically means that dissatisfaction, there must be dissatisfaction with the status quo. It could be not be dissatisfaction maybe, but move towards innovation. But then that move must be coupled by, the same space that dissatisfaction or that move is taking place must also be prepared or be aligned with the vision of the university. And then the vision and the move then must also be accompanied by first steps. There must be first steps toward those change, of which those first steps would be when you have got the elements ready, and then you are making it aware to the lecturers, and also you are starting to train them. Okay, let's move on. Okay, this is a bit confusing. I need to minimize things here because it's also hiding some of my text here. But if you look on the left, the way there is one, we have to work from the bottom to the top. That is from a lecturer who doesn't know anything about Moodle or LMS to a lecturer who's now an expert. Now that involves training, awareness, those first steps that I talked about, training, scaffolding as well. Scaffolding basically means that's when you take the lecturer one-on-one and show them how to go through the steps of using an LMS. And then, but then at the top there, you'll find that the target is that the lecturer must be an expert. So there must be an expert. Okay, if you look there at the bottom there, this we're still looking at number one. This structure, that number one, there is a dais-based support steps. So the lecturer is the novice, and the academic developer, e-learning specialist in this case, is an expert. Now, both of them must go through the steps like a ladder, so that at the end of the day, the lecturer must be an expert, and then, the novice must articulate to become an expert, and the expert now, who's the academic developer, in this case, e-learning specialist, must fade, so that what must be highlighted now is the lecturer who's now an expert, and the expert who was an expert before just fade now to give away to the lecturer to do what he's supposed to do. Now, how do we know that lecturer is an expert? We'll know if he's an expert, he will start building courses, and he'll also start advocating use of what is up to their departments, and then also if he can also articulate by actually participating in grassroots events that the university organizes. Now we have got actually grassroots event this week where lecturers are actually articulating and then showing off how they have learned when in using LMS or any other technology for that matter, that they got support from the academic developers. Now, if you look at number two, let me see if I can move this around. Yes, I can. If you look at number two, the area which is which is in the middle there, this is actually the questions that need to be addressed by the academic developer, those concerns that I talked about. For an example, at the awareness stage on the left there, number three, the lecturer will ask, what is it? You don't know model. I mean, what is this model? What is this that you're telling us about? We don't know about it. So then we have to tell them that this model is something I'm going to use in order to facilitate the remote learning or online learning. Now, the other one question will be, how does it work? Then we have to demonstrate as academic developers, how does it work? Then the next question will be, how does this impact me? What is my plan to do it? Right. How does this impact? Then this mode is going to be now a tool of trade. This is what we're going to use instead of the classroom, because the classroom is no more. Now we are using a model. This is what we're going to be using. So that's how it impacts you. So as you can see that before we actually train them, we already address the questions that they might have that could lead to resistance at the end. The next question could be, how can I master the skills and fit it all in? How do you master the skills? We do on one-on-one session. We'll give you printed manuals. We'll give you a self-help course. We'll also assist you as well. And also we'll also run online training, and if it's possible, face-to-face training. Collaboration, it's working fine, but how do others do it? Now, that's where now the part of articulation comes in. The lecturer is brought to the idea. Now, how do others do it? It means now there must be a cross collaboration between lecturers, between departments, and between faculties, so that they can learn from each other. I do it like this, and I think it works best. So now those challenges that they stumble upon when they are working in silos, they integrate them now to make sure that they are actually addressing one common cause, which is the use of technology in the university's life. Well, very good question. Is there anything else that is better? We train people to use Moodle, but we find them using other things. Like yesterday, one was even presenting about something called OPS. It was my first time seeing it. It's OPS on open Tonton. I don't know what it means. I mean, you might find that he was not taught that, but he knew that Teams is not working fine. Blackboard Collaborate is no longer there. So he found OPS. So, and even yesterday, people were actually saying, I learned it from a lecturer so-and-so. I learned it from lecturer so-and-so, which means that now, once you give them the lecturers the foundation skills to know about technology, then they start interacting with each other, learn from each other. So that's what that stage of forecasting means. Now, these are the stages, colleagues, that are all in the SIBE model, and which when I'm going through it, I found that it is it is worthwhile to actually follow it, and because it actually works. Because the most important thing is you don't give technology first, you ask the questions first, then you give the technology later. Now, at number 4 on the left, we can see that there's an arrow going upwards there from no knowledge to application. The target colleague is application. And in the process, whether you answer all of these questions or not, there will be gaps at number 4. There will be gaps, as you can see that arrow, which means those gaps need to be closed. Now, to close those gaps, we have to ask you a question: what is it that we need from getting from no knowledge to application, from here to there?
Fezile, just be wary of time. Thank you.
What time is it, ma'am?
It's 1:15, but yes, you still have some minutes because you started late. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Tell me when I'm late with 1 minute.
Yeah, almost there. 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
All right, thank you, ma'am. How do you close those gaps? We do them through one-on-one consultation. If lecturer is still missing some information, we go through one-on-one situations. Let's go down. I want to go down. All right. The question is now, why are we doing this? Our target to change the individual lecturers, who will change the faculty, the department and the faculty, who will eventually change the institutional life. How do we support them? We encourage self-exploration, we encourage collaboration, we encourage authentic tasks. That is, even for the training, it's not a training about how to use model, it's a training about how to add and develop your course and model, so that after the training, we immediately train your student as well. We don't have a session whereby we train you on Moodle and then you go and do it on your own. No, we train you now, you do it now, then the next stage will be taking your work to the student. They can be trained on how to access work. Formal training, we've got the self-lab course, we've got manuals, WhatsApp, all those kind of things. I want to see if I've got another slide here. I'm done. Okay, I'm done, colleagues. But as I have said, I will share the presentation, and then I've written notes under each slide so that to explain it further. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Fezile. Are there any questions? We still have a minute or two for anybody with a burning question. Burning questions for colleagues for Fezile? We are a little bit behind time, Mike.